Our story today comes from Swaffham in Norfolk. And for me, these are stories from my mother's people, from the United Kingdom. So shall we start with the story? Okay, here we go. And our story starts in that other world, the dream world, with a man who is dreaming. And in his dream, he sees a knight all dressed in red. And the knight pulls up his visor and speaks directly to him in his dream. And the knight says, "If you dig by the old oak tree, good will come of it." And our sleeping man, he awakes, getting this direct message from his dreams, a direct message from the ancestors, from the deepest part of his mind. He wakes back into his life, back into our world, the waking world. And he shakes himself. Whew, that was strange, that was different. But he goes back to sleep again. Then he wakes again after this direct message. If you dig by the old oak tree, good will come of it. Then he goes back to sleep again and he wakes again. And the third time he wakes, this time, he nudges his wife awake. And he says, darling, I've had a dream. We need to go and dig by the old oak tree." And his wife, coming to consciousness from sleep, finally gets the message her husband is trying to give her. And she laughs. "I married you because I love you. What is this talk of dreams and digging? I love you, darling, but please don't wake me again at night for dreams." And so he goes to sleep again and he gets a little bit of rest, but he wakes early. But this dream haunts him. As he goes to the market, he sees the red knight, or he thinks he sees him. It's just disappearing people wearing a red t-shirt here, a red jumper there, who disappear. As he walks home, he thinks he sees the knight again, but he doesn't. And it stalks him, this dream. He begins to have it every single night. All the time, the dream stays in his head for months and months and months. Until finally, his wife is fed up. She says, "Darling, okay, although I've planted sweet cabbages by the old oak tree at the bottom of our garden, you can dig them up. We can dig for your dream." So both of them head out to the old oak tree. And it's a huge old oak tree with the knobbles and the mounds of an old oak, and the branches leaning down towards the earth. And so they walk up to this oak tree and they begin to dig. And it's hard work, but they dig and they dig and they dig and they dig. And they bring out the black earth, the black soil. And then after a while of digging, they hear clink. The spade has hit metal. And now even the wife is a little bit curious. Something has sparked in her. And so they work with a renewed energy, and they dig and they dig and they dig around until they're able to see a pot, a black pot in the black earth. And they pull and they pull and they pull and they pull the pot out and they place it on the grass. Even the wife's not worried that the pot goes straight on top of her lovely cabbages. And then there's black earth on top of the pot, and they begin to scramble to get it off. And then they look inside, and there's nothing. There is nothing in the pot. It is empty. And the wife strokes her husband's face. No, I told you so. No more mean remarks. She just says to her husband, I could use a new pot. And so she takes the pot and she washes it and she begins to use it in the day to day running of the house. And the husband has to sit there for a little while, wondering if he can trust his dreams. And then things change. They get back into the rhythm of day-to-day life for weeks, for months, for years, for decades. And that pot has been trustworthy. It's cooked many a hearty meal. So one day, when a peddler comes knocking at their door, knock, 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 there is a hearty meal cooking in that pot. And the peddler wants what all peddlers want when they come knocking along. He wants a nice meal. And the peddler starts talking about how he's traveled to so many exotic lands and he has so many exotic gifts to sell. And if they were to give him a nice meal, then he would be able to give them a good deal this evening when he lays out all of his wares. And the wife thinks, okay. And so she cooks in that pot that they dug out of the ground decades, years ago, a lovely meal. And she takes one of their bowls from the house and she spools out food into that bowl and she gives it to the peddler. And whilst the peddler is eating, she finishes off the washing up. And she hangs that pot on a shelf just in the peddler's view. And the peddler sees it and thinks, that's strange. These are kind, generous, humble people. I didn't think that they would speak Latin or have a pot with Latin inscribed in it. And so he asked them. He asked the wife and our dreaming husband, do you speak Latin? And they say, no, sir. We were humble, hard-working people. We don't know about this fancy Latin. And he says, that's strange because your pot has a Latin inscription in it. And that Latin inscription is a strange inscription. It says, underneath this pot, there is another pot. And so the wife and the dreamer look at each other, but they contain their excitement. And they say, we don't know anything about that, sir. We don't know anything about Latin. And the peddler thinks, okay. And so, trying to hold themselves back from rushing the peddler out of the house, they wait and they wait and they wait. And the peddler says, I will see you later, I'll give you good deals. And they say, yes, 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 yes. And finally, the peddler goes out and they wait and they wait and they watch him walk down the road and then they shut the door and then they breathe. And the wife says, wait, let us count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then they go. They take a spade and they dig and they dig and they dig and they dig and they dig. And then they hear clink, clink, clink. Another pot. And they work hard and they pull out that pot and they place it on the grass, gently this time. And it's covered with black earth. And they scrape off the earth at the top and they look inside. And it's gold. It's shining. They have never seen so much gold in their lives. And there is laughter and joy between them. And they think our final years will be years of ease. And so they take the gold inside. They hide the gold and they wash the new pot. And they go into the village green to see the peddler. And they begin a little barter with the peddler. But the peddler thinks, I've never bartered so well in my life. Because these humble folk, they pay 1 gold coin for one of his exotic trinkets. And it's the best deal the peddler has ever made in his life. And that is where our story ends for today. Thank you for listening.